please watch part 2. And after part 2, we're going to go over to part 3 and discuss what is it about this topic of BBLs smelling bad. Is that true? You asked for it, so let's talk about the BBL, the Brazilian butt lift. Is it really from Brazil? What does it actually mean to have a Brazilian butt lift done? And what's going on with those trends like the Miami Thong lift? What's that about? And how about the skinny or mini BBL? My name is Nurse Lisa. I'm going to break down the BBL for you and why it is still considered one of the most dangerous medical procedures out there today. Why so many women died from getting the BBL. Why would they even risk it? And is it any safer today than it was years ago? Let's talk about it. All you have to do is Google BBL deaths or ChatGPT and talk about some information about why it's dangerous and are women still dying from this. Yes, they are. I'll explain exactly why, what was found when a task force was put together to try and figure out why women are dying from this. I'll explain that in a few minutes, but let's talk about why it's called a BBL. And is it from Brazil? Women have wanted to look better, right? So the voluptuous, beautiful ladies in Brazil, that's what they're saying they want to look like. That started a long time ago. A Brazilian plastic surgeon helped popularize the techniques for body contouring and for grafting in the 1960s and 70s. His work did influence what's now called the BBL, although he didn't actually create it. The Brazilian butt lift involves a few steps. The first step is liposuction. So the liposuction is from the back, for example, the arms, the hips, the thighs, and then that fat is processed and purified. It is then put into syringes and injected into the buttocks area to enhance it, to make it a certain shape. A large volume is put in with the Brazilian butt lift, but for the mini butt lift or skinny butt lift, a very small amount is put in. And the skinny BBL is called that because it focuses on the ladies who are thin already, and they just want a little bit of the fat transfer done, not a huge voluptuous back end. So what's a Miami Thong lift? Well, Miami, Florida, or South Florida area is the hub of the butt lifts. It's where more are done than anywhere else in the United States. Rather than going big, more of these patients want a lift and contour and tightening effect. So the Miami Thong lift is considered a lift, not fat injection. The Miami Thong lift tends to help smooth things out, smooths out the cellulite, tightens the skin, and raises the gluteal region subtly with, again, no fat transfer. It's called a thong lift because the incision is right there in the crack area where a thong is considered to be the place where it's going to hide that scar. So the Miami thong lift is more of a lift and smoothing process. And the skinny BBL is for the thinner ladies and gentlemen who want less fat injection, less volume put in. The Brazilian butt lift is where you're seeing a lot of volume placed in, and the volume might be in the hips too, not just in the buttocks area, and the tummy tuck might be done at the same time, and there might be breast augmentation at the same time. So a lot of add-ons sometimes are done with a Brazilian butt lift. Let's talk about the cost of a BBL in the United States and the surgery time. And this is important to remember this because an average BBL surgical time takes approximately 2 to 4 hours. So we'll say a few hours for a BBL, one BBL. And the cost is, in the United States, the average BBL cost is $9,000 to $12,000. A lot of people go to other countries. So for example, in Mexico, people want to go there because it's less expensive, and instead of say $9,000 to $12,000, it's going to be $3,000 to $5,000, for example. Each place is going to be a little bit different. In the US, the Miami Thong lift, at this point anyway, is approximately $6,000 and up. Of the few-step procedure where the fat is harvested or liposuctioned out in the areas that I mentioned and then processed and then injected back into the buttocks area, what part of those 3 steps would you say it has been found that the deaths occur. If you said during the part of injecting the fat back in, that would be correct. And I'm going to explain exactly why in just a moment. Okay, so it's no big secret that a BBL has caused a lot of deaths. Not only deaths, but disabilities. Some people make it through the surgery, but then there are other complications that arise, say infections or sepsis, back into the hospital again. Some ladies have had to go on ECMO and other things that have been implemented to save their lives because things weren't all together smooth. It wasn't an easy process. There's a lot of blood. There are a lot of fluids. There's a lot going on. Healing is very, very painful. So why are men and women doing this to their bodies? I think that we can guess on some things, or if you speak to someone who maybe is your cousin or your aunt or your daughter and you ask them why, if they tell you they're going for it, because a lot of people don't disclose that they're heading to Mexico or Miami to get this done. But if they explain it to you, they might say things like, I'm just not happy with the way I look. I don't like the way I look. Does it have to do with low self-esteem? Does it have to do with everybody else looks this way and I don't look this way? I think that the answer is only going to be told honestly by the person getting it done. But one thing is for sure, men and women are fully lining up still to this day to get a Brazilian butt lift and other enhancements done to them for a major surgery to enhance, change, or fix what they find to be wrong with their body, even though they know that it could risk their life. If you want to hear about all the complications like fat embolism, necrotic tissue, and death, and how exactly that has occurred, please watch part 2. And after part 2, we're going to go over to part 3 and discuss what is it about this topic of BBLs smelling bad. Is that true? Is that a myth? What's the BBL stink that everybody's talking about?